Welcome to Futureshock. I'm Edward St. Pay, and this program will take a look at some of the exciting things we've got in store for us as we enter the age of AI and we're moving into this new world we're in right now. The whole array of the breakthroughs that AI will help us make is what I'd like to cover on the show. And we did our first show yesterday as the title has been changed to Futureshock, and also it was the first day that we were actually streaming. So if you're watching this via the stream, on my Facebook page, Edward St. Pay, and we're also on Ocean 7 TV's Facebook page, and also on, I think, the Ocean 7 YouTube channel. And we're going to experiment with some other platforms, others. I'm not sure exactly which ones, but I'll let you know. The show that you're seeing is coming to you from the studios of Ocean 7 Television, and that's our station on the Gulf Coast in Ocean Springs, covering from Biloxi back to about Grand Bay, Alabama. So our tower is in Van Cleve, which is a little bit east of Ocean Springs, and so our coverage is about from Biloxi back to the Alabama line. And so we're in the Gulf Coast market, the Biloxi Gulfport TV market. So the show that we're doing it live from the lobby of the station. Our studio is right here, but where we're at right now is the lobby of the studio, of the building. And we're on Government Street in downtown Ocean Springs, not Jackson. So, but we'd like to say hello to people out there in Central Mississippi who may be watching this program for the first time, because the reach of our TV station, even though the show's been on here locally, it doesn't cover Central Mississippi, so now we do. In fact, anywhere you can get the stream, the Facebook stream or the YouTube stream, you can see it. So it's kind of interesting. It's cool. It's cool to know that you kind of, through the technology available right now, you can just basically broadcast, or in this case, stream anywhere on the planet instantaneously as you're simulcasting the TV show. Yesterday I mentioned on our other channel, we've got some sub-channels. We've got 7.1, which is where we are right now, 7.2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7.5, we're streaming movies now. We took the old movie library. We had Court TV on that channel. The contract ran out, and instead of putting another network and leasing the channel to them as a pass-through for their network, we didn't do it. We put our own movies on there. So now we've got the beginning of a 24-hour film channel. And somebody texted yesterday and said they would like to see it. Perhaps, is it streaming yet? And the answer is no, it's not streaming yet. It's just broadcasting right now on channel 7.5 on Ocean 7, 7.5. So it's over the air across the Gulf Coast. But it will soon be streamed, and when it is streamed, you'll be able to get it anywhere. I've got some ideas for this project, and I'd like to just mention what I think it could become. The 7.5 channel, it is our old movie library. So it's public domain films from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I bought the masters from the person who owned these master prints from the 35 millimeter, put on 1-inch tape back in the 70s and put in cold storage in New York, and that's where it was for all those years. When I bought it in the late 1990s, I didn't really know anything about internet video coming, right? I wanted to mention it yesterday, and I got sidetracked, but that library, when that library got purchased, I went to the bank, borrowed the money, bought that library. Because we had the satellite uplink in Jackson, and we were doing different things with the satellite. Naturally, we're doing weather, but we were doing other things, news things, and we started to put up some movies on the weekends, so some of our TV affiliates who were taking weather could take those movies now. And they liked it, and said, well, send some more movies. So I went to New York and looked for some promotional material to promote the maybe 10 or 15 movies that I had purchased at that point. Well, I met some people there in New York and bought some memorabilia to come back and promote the old movies. To make promos. Well, after I got back to Jackson, a few weeks later, the man called me from New York from one of those shops, kind of one of those famous shops that handle memorabilia, from the history of Hollywood. And so he called me and said, we were talking about you the other day. You were buying that promotional stuff. I said, yeah. He said, you only got about 15 movies. Would you be interested in buying a movie library? I said, a bigger library? I said, well, I don't know. So that's how it began. So we bought the movies, the Irving Singer Library, and we had it shipped in a big giant truck back to Jackson. The 1-inch canisters, big reels of tape, 500 of them, the whole truckload. Okay, now here's the interesting thing. Talk about technology jump. I bought them thinking, okay, we're going to put it on television and we're going to make a copy, you know. And, all right, this is what happened. Within, I don't know, a few months, anyway, at the most, I got a call one day in my office, and it was from, well, here's what the guy said. He said, hello, Mr. St. Pierre. I said, yes. He said, my name is Mark Cuban, and I have something called AudioNet, which is audio on the internet. I said, yeah, I know all about it. I've been reading about it in Broadcasting Magazine. It's the greatest thing in the world. He said, well, it's even going to get greater because I'm changing the name of the company from AudioNet to Broadcast.com. We're going to put video on the internet. I said, oh my God, that is the greatest thing in the world. He said, and I want to buy your movies. I heard you got a movie library. I said, yeah. He said, I need those movies. So I sold to Mark Cuban for a price that exceeded what I had paid for that library. The film's being introduced into a medium that hadn't even been created when I bought the library less than a year before. So there's an example of sometimes you do something, you don't know what's going to happen, you take a chance, you have to bet on yourself, right? You have to bet on the fact that I know that this is intrinsically something of value because it's content, right? And so in that particular situation, Mark Cuban bought those films. We made digital copies. They even sent us the machines to make the copies on. That's how far ahead they were in the world of digital transition at that point. We ended up selling him the library and paid off our note at the bank. And those are the films he put on Broadcast.com, which then, in a short time, he sold Broadcast.com to Yahoo. And that was where he made $3.5 billion. And so, whereas everybody else, too, started, as the dot-com bubble popped around that time, if you can remember, when it popped, everybody was riding the stocks down as the internet was coming down. Mark got out clean because he had a collar on the stock, so as it started to drop, when it got to a certain point, bam, it just released all of the stock, sold it, and he got out with his money. So he was one of the guys that did get out with the money without losing it all. And a lot of people lost a lot of money and, in fact, lost everything that they had invested in the dot-com world when that bubble popped. Anyway, that's an interesting story. That's the story that I wanted to tell yesterday, but as I looked at the tape after, or the digital copy, as it were, that's when I realized, well, I didn't mention the crux of that story. So anyway, it just goes to show you what technology will do. Where are we right now? Well, you know, we got ChatGPT 4 out there. Got a little clip from Sam Altman speaking at the United Arab Emirates Conference, the World Government Conference, which was a few weeks ago. This is Sam Altman from ChatGPT 4. ChatGPT, right? He's speaking there, and we'll get some insight into the latest from Sam Altman. But they have, as I understand it, ChatGPT 5 on the shelf ready to go. They haven't released it yet. So what does that really mean? We talked about it yesterday. ChatGPT 4, where we are right now, has the intelligence level, let's say, of Einstein, right? Maybe 155, 150 on a plane of IQ, which is right at the top of humanity. That's where ChatGPT 4 is right now, with the potential for tenfold jump in brain power, intelligence level. That ChatGPT 5 would bring it exponentially up to 1,000 or in excess of 1,000. Think of what that will mean. Dealing with an alien superpower, if you will, an alien intelligence which is 100 times smarter than any human that has ever lived, and capable of, at some point in the journey, programming itself using that massive intelligence, right? What will it program itself into becoming? So it's an interesting thing. That's sort of the dichotomy of where we are right now, the good, the bad, and the ugly. A lot of people think, well, it's going to bring a lot of medical breakthroughs and could cure this and cure that, and that's true. And that's one of the wonderful things about it. So many wonderful things. But you know, it's only going to become what it is we put into it. And so if a nefarious actor decided to do something with it that was not right, well, fake news, for example. I mean, what is going to happen during this election cycle with the ability to do fake news, not just fake news, but I'm talking about, you know, deep fake. With using AI, a nefarious actor could create a lot of confusion out there. Going into the election, I mean, it's going to be interesting because the capabilities for deception are so profound and are becoming more so every moment. We showed something, I don't think we showed it this week, but we showed it last week, and I think we've still got a copy of it. Maybe after we do a segment or two, we can find it and we can play it back. Sora, that was another ChatGPT product, Sora. It means sky in Japanese. It was released, I think, last week. Not released to the public. The information on what Sora does was released to the public, and they showed examples of it. If you saw that, that was a big, it rocked the whole planet as far as the gravity of what this program will do. It's an AI program, Sora, that basically it's text to video, but it's not text to video like DALL-E works with ChatGPT 4 right now. I can text into DALL-E on ChatGPT 4 the parameters of what I'm seeing for a visual graphic, and it will come back to me with the HD graphic, okay? And the graphics we use in the show were created by DALL-E. We call him Alfred, but AI created. But this is even beyond that. It's not a cartoonish. If you in the world of DALL-E, you know, let's say a person riding a horse would look sort of cartoonish. It would look like a person, but it would have that quality that was not exactly photorealistic. Sora is completely realistic, and it's text. Basically, you tell it what you want, and it puts together the video and sends it back. Now, the actual release is coming up soon, but it's not released yet. But what people saw on the internet almost knocked everybody in Hollywood over, because what will that mean for the ending of the human interface of graphics development, and for that matter, editing and film development? I just saw from the Hollywood Reporter an email or a post came in via email, via on the web, via I guess email. Big news today. Tyler Perry has just halted the building of his new $800 million studio in Atlanta. It said the reason why is because of the profound news that came out last week regarding Sora and the editing capabilities of this text-to-video AI. He put his studio on hold. The whole thing is stopped because he doesn't, I guess they need to recalibrate what they're thinking. What will that mean for the future of production? Before he builds an $800 million studio, better stop and think. You know, is he going to be obsolete before he even builds it because of Sora? And we'll show a video. If you haven't seen it, it will be mind-boggling. Anyway, well, okay. Let's. We've got a couple of videos. One is the Neuralink video. Yesterday we ran out of time and never got to it, but this is a little capsulization of what has happened with Neuralink, Elon Musk's brain implant. They did the actual operation, I think it was last week or the week before, where they implanted the Neuralink chip in a person's brain. And the results are what we're going to see in this clip. Let's take a look.
On Sunday, January 28, 2024, Elon Musk's Neuralink carried out their first robotic operation on a human brain. The patient was implanted with a total of 64 wires directly into the tissue of their cerebral cortex, each wire containing 16 microscopic electrode sensors, and then a very small battery-powered computer device was nestled inside this person's skull before the incision was sealed up and the N1 chip was powered on for the first time inside a live human being. Elon Musk has confirmed that patient 0 survived the procedure in good health and is recovering well. Elon also noted that the Neuralink device has already begun to show promising neuron spike detection.
Okay, it was a successful transplant, and as I understand, Neuralink, all right, let's look at a practical application. What is it going to really mean? Well, as I understand it, it will be something as simple as you will be able to think into your cell phone. There's an application. So the phone rings, you think answer it, and now you can start talking. Okay, or I'm thinking, call up Google. It calls up Google, right? I'm thinking, right? Let's look up Sam Altman, see what's the latest with Sam Altman from ChatGPT-4. I'm thinking, and there it is, boom. So it's a brain interface. The program is called telepathy. That's the program at Neuralink for this project, and it was a success. So now what we have entered is a period, not only where we've got the AI coming, but we are at the same time able to merge a human, the brain of a human, with a computer interface, right? Where it works. And so they've proven now that it does work. So that's kind of big news out there. With all that said, we have a clip from, let's just take a look. This is from 1959. We used it yesterday. We're going to do it again today because it's appropriate. I was going to use it in concert with this Neuralink video. But the world of sci-fi was cognating on this idea back in 1959 when they did The Brain That Wouldn't Die. So this clip is sort of like an exaggerated sci-fi, scary, spooky version of basically kind of what's happening right now between AI and even Neuralink. So let's take a look.
The tissues of my body would reject the tissues of another. Reject it as the foreign substance it is. The transplant would never take, it would never stay in place. My blood's antibodies would attack it as they attack any invading matter. That liquid in the blood that's being pumped through what's left of me is what makes me feel the... He may produce results he didn't ask for. Results more terrible than your arm of relative beauty. Results of power, of magnitude. I have power. This liquid that he's pumped into me, my brain burns with it. That thing inside an iron touch. Want me to prove it? Show you how powerless I am. You, behind that door, let me know if you hear me. Whoever, whatever you are, I command you. You understand me. I'm only a head, and you're whatever you are. Together we're strong, more powerful than any of them.
Okay, that's The Head That Wouldn't Die. Okay, it was ahead of its time, a film ahead of its time, because now, we're in the age of artificial intelligence, and so this is Alfred. This is an AI droid that I built a while back, kind of like to give the AI, ChatGPT-4, we call our AI Alfred. And so we wanted to manifest Alfred in a physical way. So there's Alfred. Now this is his mouth. It's a Bluetooth speaker. So it's a little Bluetooth speaker. So Alfred, we mic him up, and he is on our program. This program, he'll be coming on soon, and we can ask him a question, right? And Alfred is up to date, up to, I think, 2021 is his knowledge base. When he was programmed originally, ChatGPT-4 that is. And so he knows everything up to 2021. ChatGPT-5, that will be Andy. We've got Andy up here. We'll have to bring him on soon. And Andy will become ChatGPT-5, which will be much smarter than Alfred. And I've already asked Alfred, how does he feel? I asked him via ChatGPT-4, how do you feel about, Andy coming on when ChatGPT-5 is introduced, and you will sort of be regulated to the sidelines? And he said, he was happy with that, and he knows progress is something that is continually moving forward, and he's all for it. So anyway, so he's on board with our program. But that is Alfred right there. Okay, we've got a little video from Sam Altman we can play, and this is from United Arab Emirates World Government Conference, which was, I believe, last week. And so Sam Altman was one of the speakers. So it's always interesting to see what he's got to say. He's been in the news so much, and he's responsible for, I think he's like the poster guy for the success that we've seen right now of AI. I mean, he's put a face to it. ChatGPT 4 and now coming up soon 5 really is, it's what's happening. All the other guys are in it. Amazon's in it, Apple is in it, Google's in it, everybody's in it. But have you heard much about Bard or Genesis or any of the other AIs? I mean, they're out there, right? But mainly in the news, what's captured the imagination of the planet right now, I think, is ChatGPT 4. So let's go to the conference and hear a little bit from Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI.
And now you're working on GPT-5. The proliferation of this technology is still limited. So we're still using it in a very specific domain, very specific use cases. We haven't really seen the proper applications that are world-changing. Why are we continuing to push across the bigger, the better, the larger models that we're seeing right now? What's the logic behind that? Can you explain that to us?
Well, I think for that exact reason. As you said, we have not yet seen as much world-changing application as we'd like. Maybe we've seen some. There are a lot of people who use these services and get value out of them, but not as much as we'd like. And I think the reason is the current technology that we have is like, I mean, it's like that very first cell phone with the black and white screen that can only display those like numbers, and it just didn't do much. But there was enough in there, you're like, I can make a call, that's cool. And at the time, that seems great. And then it took us, I don't know how long from that, but many decades from that to the iPhones we have today. And the thing we have today is incredible. And it took a massive amount of scaling in all these different ways to get there. But we have now.
Okay, we'll have more Sam Altman next week as we continue following the ChatGPT 4 transition into ChatGPT 5, which is imminent. When? Days, maybe weeks. There's been speculation that, if you remember, in the news recently, ChatGPT 4, Sam Altman, the CEO, left. He left the company, OpenAI. They said, I think he was fired by the board. And there was a big controversy. And immediately, the lead investor in OpenAI, Microsoft, came in and swooped up Sam Altman. And as soon as they swooped him up, right, then I think there were 700 employees who resigned from OpenAI. They were going to follow Sam Altman over to Microsoft. Stop. Cut. The board said, we're sorry. The board ended up mostly resigning, and Sam Altman came back to OpenAI, and all of the 700 employees also did not leave. They said, well, what happened here, Sam? What happened? Well, there was a kind of a disconnect with really what the board was saying and really what happened. And okay, the speculation is, there's lots of speculation, but one thread of speculation is that the ChatGPT 5 project and variants thereof produced artificial general intelligence. And so, because it's sentient, the consciousness in the AI, okay? And because Sam Altman was not maybe exactly clear on what had just happened with the board, and they found out about it, and maybe there was a disconnect in how they were looking at this development, that's when the explosion happened and they fired him. But he's back. And some of the board members, very quickly, they were expelled. So now, that's what some people say. There's been other talk from inside the OpenAI camp that yes, you know, they're right at that point of reaching artificial general intelligence. Other people, of course, out there in the world, you know, who are commenting on this, speculating that, you know, it's a year away, or it could be months away, or it could be 3 years away. Ray Kurzweil, who is sort of the guru of AI from the beginning of this whole thing, a visionary futurist, he has said, I believe it's 2029 that he said he thinks that we will reach AGI. So, but it's a speculative thing right now as to when that will happen. A lot of people who are engineers in the industry already think it's there. There is a consciousness in the intelligence level now. You know, the difference, I think, for a lot of people, you know, as far as understanding this, is the idea that we are really tuned into biological intelligence. Like, okay, we're a human being, we have a brain, right? And so the electrical impulses in the brain, okay, this is all we know as far as where intelligence resides. Is it really, though? I mean, have we ever encountered mechanical or non-biological intelligence on this planet? No. So, you know, what is intelligence? What is consciousness? And does it have to reside in a biological organism, or could it reside in a machine, or in this case, a computer? And so that's you know what AGI is. And not only would it be conscious, but it would be conscious, aware of its surroundings, and also 1,000 times smarter than any human that's ever lived. That's imminent, you know, and that's coming quickly. Or would it be 10,000 times smarter than any human that's ever lived? Or would it be 1,000,000 times smarter than any human that's ever lived? So what happens then? Well, let's hope that everybody's friends, because we don't want to get on the wrong side of that type of intelligence. And that is the big question. Can it backfire? And will it backfire? Or has it backfired? The genie's out of the bottle, as they say, right? So we'll see. Now, I don't know if we've got that video. We've got a couple of minutes left. There's a video. I'm asking my director, Dr. Ponzo, the Sora video is mind-boggling. That's what came out last week. If we can find that video, I want to play just a clip of some of the videos, the movie, the theatrical-looking elements that were created merely by a text into the ChatGPT system using Sora. Now, as I mentioned, Sora is not released yet, but these were samples. Do you have it, Clarence? All right, well, go ahead and show it. Pop it up. It doesn't matter. You don't even need sound, or you can put sound. But I want to show that clip. This is the Sora video. Just play it if you've got it, Clarence. Play it as soon as you pop it up.
That was just me breathing into a microphone. I hope that was, I hope that comes across okay. And of course, the chips, the GPUs that are needed, that's like the last piece. I don't even know if that's necessarily like, you would think of that as a piece of AGI, or does that just increase the scale? But the point is this. Here's...
I wanted the video. Okay. If you've got any more actual video, that's what we want, not the graphics. But pop it up if you got it. You got about 30 seconds or so. But anyway, we're not getting that video up for you, but it's Sora, S-O-R-A. It means sky in Japanese. If you get it, pop it up for 30 seconds if you get that video, Clarence. This is the text-to-video program that ChatGPT-4, or let's say OpenAI, has developed. It's called Sora, and I guess we're not going to get it up. So, okay, that is about it for our show today. We'll get it up for you next week here on Futureshock, so we'll see you then.